All right, I've got some interesting charts for tomorrow for our trading session. And actually, this is one of them, NTAP. Except if you didn't trade every day, you probably wouldn't even look twice at this because it's just nothing standing out. But we've had a couple good trades in it 2 days in a row. And yesterday it got that intraday spike. And then today, well, let me show you. Yesterday we bought this pullback right here almost at the bottom of this tail, got a nice move. Then today, this thing, let me switch to 60s. This thing has great support at 35.50. So when it got down to 35.50, looked like this. I told the chat room this could be a good buy right here. Okay, right around this 35.50 had the line there. Wasn't calling it officially, I said, but this could be a good buy. And that literally was the bottom of the day. And then when it flagged like this, whoops, right there, I actually called this as a trade because it did bounce off support again, 35.50. You had this big spike yesterday. It's been grinding down, and I like this little flag. So I called it at 35.72, stop at like 35.60, and we ended up getting all the way back up near the high of the day. So if you didn't know this intraday spike and the support right below at 35.50, you might not even look twice at this chart. But and this may do nothing tomorrow, I don't know, but it's going to be on watch tomorrow for a potential long with a proper setup. Real quick, before I go into the other charts, I'll show you some stuff we did today. Also, ETE, big spike there. And I didn't catch an entry in it until it was putting in this base. I made a call that a break of this base could push it back through the high of the day, and right there it did it. And just closed at its high. So called it at 56.45. It went up $1.82 from there, and the stop goes right below that same base. Anytime you have a base after a strong move and the high of day is above that, which is also another catalyst that you know if you break that, you get new highs. That's a pretty good setup. So ETE worked well. One of our all-star moderators, Zozo, called First Solar, FSLR. Just, I mean, very tight pattern here. It was a great spot by Zozo. A very tight pattern, and he called it just long over that pattern. 69.65. The stop was maybe 20 cents below, and it went all the way up well over $1 from there. Well, $1.15 up from there. One of our members, Ramesh, alerted BlackBerry, said, hey, what about BlackBerry over the high of the day, which it hit. These are 5-minute candles. BlackBerry hit 985 right here, and it's been really strong lately. Okay, so I agreed with Ramesh that that looked good, and then what it did was it put in a red candle, which made me like it even more because then it was right back up. So I called it at 985 with a 979 stop, and we got a really nice move to 1010 there. CBI also called over this little red candle right here and got like a 50 or 60 cent move. Ended up going higher than that by the end of the day. And let's see, that was the bulk of the intraday stuff today. Now let me show you some charts I'm going to be watching tomorrow. Triple D, DDD, this one looks really nice. I'm going to have to try that over. That wasn't even close. You had a high back here. You have to understand, my mouse is set really fast. And then it pulled back and right back up here again, just like that 5-minute chart I just showed you. Only these are daily candles. Sellers came in, and these sellers quickly failed. This thing wouldn't surprise me at all to see it hit 60 tomorrow or the next day or sometime soon. So DDD, if it can break today's high, 50, well, it doesn't even need to get that high. Let's go to the intraday. Really, if it can just get up above this range here. I was looking for a long today over 57.67, something like that. So here's a catalyst for you, 57.70. Right above, you know, this tight range here. Should push it through today's high and then start to continue the breakout. So if you want a number, I like it over 57.70 tomorrow. That's DDD. PVA also has to go on watch. Nice high volume break today. You still have you know, recent highs up here above 18, so it has room to run still. We're going to watch that, see if we can't catch an early pullback and a decent setup. CarMax, I like KMX on bounce watch. Gapped up, hasn't broken a previous day's high since the gap up, but you had a narrow range right at that whole number 50. I like it at 50.30, a break of today's high, or with an intraday narrow range and then a break of its own high during the day tomorrow, whether or not that's below 50.30. But I do like this over 50.30. I could see this one heading back up. And here's a cheapie, XGTI. Now, they had a contract with the Army. The wording was a $497 million contract or something like that. That's the cap of the 5-year contract. So, it's not like they're getting $500 million, overnight or anything like that. But it's still interesting because the stock, if you take the gap up and the news out of it, it's still an interesting chart, right? It ran to $5 back here, lower high, and then really looked like it was done. And then it had news again here and ran up to almost 3. And then it's basing below $2, and then you get that news with the Army. So for a stock at $1.90 something, that was big news, okay? And it sold off and gapped down a little bit today, but closed, looks like it closed just above its open. I'm looking for a bounce in this one tomorrow. I'd be surprised if this thing comes all the way back down, below $2. But if it does, you've got, and this is why I like this one, you've got great support here. It spent like a month right there in this range right below $2. So I'd be surprised to see this gap fill, okay? What I'd like to see is a narrow range tomorrow, maybe a gap down and then break its own early high, something like that, or a narrow range for a few hours and then a high of day break. I think you could get a really nice percentage gainer there. Very low float, at least what I looked up. I think it's like 15 million shares. So this thing, as you can see back here, can really move at times. Keep this one on your radar. That's XGTI. FRO. Really nice move back here from 250 to over 3 in a couple days. Now switch to 15-minute candles, and now you've got a high and a lower high, a nice little base here. So, I like this one up back in the high 290s or over 3. This one could have another leg higher. Maybe needs to come in another day, but we don't just dive into anything anyway. It's got to have a proper intraday setup. I still think DNKN deserves to be on short watch. It's made a big 2-day move and just about hit 46 today. If you look at it on 60-minute candles, it's come a long way to get to this 46 area. And so I don't look at a break of these highs as a breakout because it's come too far too fast. So I like this area for a potential short, especially if you can get up over 46. I'll be looking for an intraday reversal short idea. And remember, I'm just a day trader, so these are just for trades tomorrow. Other things in my notes, I don't have any kind of catalysts on these, but these are worth watching. IRM closed at $29.77. It's up at $37 right now in after hours. So if you go to the weekly chart, it hit, what did it hit back here? Basically $40, $39.70, something like that. And it's up at 37. So it's up right about here right now in after hours. So that one's interesting. It will be interesting to watch tomorrow. I don't have any kind of prediction for you, but deserves to be on your radar. And then let's go to Bed Bath & Beyond on the first on the daily chart. Closed at 61.11. This one's trading at 56.75 right now in after hours. And if you look at the weekly chart, this one has nice support at $55. I don't know if it's ever going to get there. But you can see it hit 55. It broke it a little bit, but hit 55 a little bit back here. So if it gets down to 55, I might be looking for a bounce. And I'll have to watch it trade in the pre-market tomorrow to see if I have any kind of decision on how to trade it on an intraday basis. And I think I've babbled long enough. A couple solars might be worth looking at. JKS had the one topping looking candle and then right back up. CSIQ looks good too. So keep those on watch if solars catch a bid. I like both of those for a potential long. I have Ross stores in my notes for some reason. Oh, this one, if it gets down to 65, back here it hit 65.15. It's already down a couple days in a row. Its sister stock, if you will, TJX, is fairly weak. And that one, I don't, it has some support back here. So anyway, I like Ross stores around 65 for a potential bounce too, if you want to put that in your notes. But that's enough, all right? We will find stuff to trade on an intraday basis as well, working together in the chat room. But this is the list I'm starting with, and we'll talk to you tomorrow night.